I'll be taking your session tonight. All right. As for today's session, when I initially started this portrait course, what I intended was I wanted you just from the session to complete 3 portraits. Just by attending these sessions, even if you didn't do any additional practice, I wanted you to complete 3 portraits. That is my intention. So I started with the Shakira, Shah Rukh Khan, and also Virat Kohli. But so many of you are so proactive. Like even before we started, so many of you completed drawing Shakira. So good work on that. Good work on that. Now, of course, see, we have learned the
Actually, we could not resist ourselves.
Very, very good. Very, very happy to hear that. In fact, I'm very happy to hear that. In fact, so see, the portraits can get very, very addictive. Once you get to this now, once you can actually see that you are able to bring life, and your drawing looks like, that's the best part. Even if you had just begun on portraits, no one says that it's drawn by beginner. Like it, in fact, looks like the one that Rosina did. In fact, looks like Shakira. And I'm sure a lot of you would be able to, even if you just gave it enough time and sat with it, you all know the technique and you would be able to get it. And now that we have completed the eyes, nose, and lips, we have the majority of what is needed. Rest out, we are going to be doing ears, which are hardly visible in most of the views. Only when we draw the 3/4 view or the view in profile, we see the ears. And then it's the hair, skin tones, which are in fact pretty easy. So the majority of the portraits is in fact done within this short time. Today's session, we are going to be further practicing on this. We are going to be further practicing on the other 2 views, which focus on the nose and the lips. All right. So we'll be starting from the beginning. I am not sure. Again, it's all an experimentation because in the previous session, I intended to complete eyes from 3 portraits, which didn't work out. Which did not work out. We just did one eyes from Shakira and that was all about it. But that's all right. It's all right. But today, I think these are much more easier to process and we are going to be, let's do that on that. Shall we? Yes?
Yes.
All right. So respond with yes if you are ready to begin. And let us go. Let's go. Yes. Brilliant. Superb. These Tuesday sessions are the best. Tuesday sessions are the best. This is the time when I challenge myself. I make drawings myself, and a lot of the drawings that I make are in fact residuals, like the ones that I wanted to complete from these Tuesday sessions. And I had taken a note to complete the 3 portraits myself, and I will certainly do that. Currently, the new August batch has begun. The registration for that has begun. But yes, it's all worth it. All right, so to start off with, let me give this a neat border first. Let me give this a neat border first.
Niranjan, you're doing in A5, huh?
Yes, I'm drawing in A5. Okay. I'm drawing in A5. And this one I really believe that we can do this much more faster because I don't need to get into the some of the fundamentals that I had explained by Shakira.
Niranjan, are you doing Shah Rukh Khan or Virat Kohli first?
Virat Kohli. We'll do Virat Kohli first.
Okay.
Let's do Virat Kohli first.
Okay.
Or in fact, let's do Shah Rukh Khan first because even in our there is a lot to do with this. You would be aware of that, right? What we are trying to cover is is a lot. We are trying to cover up a lot. And I really believe that you can keep up with it. The only thing that's stopping us is the time restriction. We don't want each of these sessions to extend for more than 2.5 hours. Our attention also runs down beyond that. So because of that, we had not been paying much attention to the view and profile. And I think let's first sketch the Shah Rukh Khan view and profile.
Okay.
Following that, we can do that. Following that, we can do the rest. The very first thing when you notice his image here, you don't see the entire thing here. Okay, so Hema must be jumping in joy. We're finally drawing Shah Rukh Khan. And that too in a very signature pose. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to select the space. How much space are we going to provide for him. See, his chin comes. Let me raise up the camera a little bit higher. You can see the entire book. Yes, you can see the entire book. Much better, much better. So firstly, you want to decide on how much space that you want to provide for him. So his chin has done, below chin, there is a certain gap, and I'm leaving that. I'm not telling you how much in centimeters that you need to leave. That's really, really up to you. Approximate it, eyeball it, and draw. In this entire book, I'm just leaving enough space, just as it is here. Just enough space so that his throat can come. And then I'm leaving enough space to this, enough space on this side as well. This is one of the tricks that photographers use. When a person is looking towards this side, they create more space in the frame here. So that creates a more depth perception as compared to leaving space here. One of the tricks. I mean, even if you're taking your photography of your friend, you can always use this. If you're taking a photo in which one person is turning towards the side, leave some more space to that side, and that will really give you a depth of thing. So portrait basic, even when you're composing a portrait on your own, all of these insights come in handy. And I'm just leaving just enough space here to draw this thing. So now I know that my face is going to be fit within this. My face is going to be fit within this. All right, within this space. Let's add in the necessary space that's needed here. So first things first, nearly his entire head is coming. Nearly his entire head is coming in this thing, except for some space at the back.
Excuse me, Niranjan. There is too
Satya.
much light. I can't see very clearly.
Oh, the lines that I'm drawing, right? Don't worry, it'll come out clearly. It'll come out clearly. I hope my instructions are being clear.
Yeah.
Right? Just follow along the instructions. So all I did was firstly, I just drew 2 lines first. That's all I did here. I drew 1 line here in the paper with respect to the paper so that I know how much space my portrait is going to occupy. Understand? I just wanted to get that. So I just drew 2 lines up so that I know that my portrait is going to fit within the frame. So within this frame, I drew a frame within my frame of the paper. That's about it. Yeah. Yes. So I first off start by drawing a giant circle here, which is where it will have the majority of the head. So start from the top here. A little bit of it goes outside of the border. My lines are faint, but it's become more articulate and clearer as I go. Leaving some space here, and I also draw this cup here. So I see the entire thing is such that whatever I have drawn, how much ever large I have drawn this circle. So my composition here is this circle followed by this cup-like shape here that I've drawn. Okay, this cup-like shape here that I have drawn. And then of course I can add this here, and this neck comes here. What I need to pay attention to first is that my face. So the form is clear, yes? The form is very, very clear to you now. Now what I need to pay attention to is that whatever I have drawn the circle, this is your key point. I have drawn a circle here, below it I have drawn this. So the circle is radius. That is how large this cup is going to be. Nearly close to that, see? Nearly close to that. It need not be much smaller or much wider than this. This circle is approximate the radius of this. I'm not using compass or scale here. These are just ways to see if I'm drawing the head correctly. Okay, so I have set the basic frame for the head. The basic frame for the head. The rest are all smaller corrections that we make along the way. We are not going to be focusing on the ears here. Otherwise, we will also have to draw the ears, set the spot for the ears. We have learned that in the grid regarding the placement of the ears and all of that. So let's not pay much attention to that for now. Now of this entire image that I have here, find out the center for this one. So my head, the center, when I talk about the center, you need to consider the center from the top of the head. So since I'm drawing this portraiture here, such that it is, some of part of it is going out, in fact, see, I'm not fitting my entire head into this. Some part of it is going out. It is going out. Here it is going out. So my top, the center, this I'm plotting so that I can find the positioning of the eyes. It has to start from the topmost point of the head, not from what is within the frame, not from here. Right, the center of the, for drawing the eyes, we need to find the center. The center of the face, we don't take it from the forehead. We don't take it from what's visible. We take it from the apex, the crown of the head, which is in fact outside of the frame, base of this drawing. Notice in this one, this head goes way outside of this. So if I extend this head here, this is how it will come. See this, if I complete this, is how it will come as per this frame. It is from here. I need to find the center, and that will be my line of eyes. Okay. So let's set that. Let's set that here. Find out the center based off your drawing. Yeah. So my drawing is more than is nearly like my entire thing of 18 centimeters. So around 9 centimeters I find the center. I have plotted the center.
What is the measurement from the top apex to the center point?
From the top apex. So see, I don't point out the measurements, Hema, for the reason that I don't want you to be confused with my measurements. You understand? There'll be minute differences. Just look into this one. You have fit the drawing within a frame. For me, see, even I have taken some place outside of the border and I have taken it will be very confusing for you. Apart from that, I think it's best you consider it this way. Use your drawings as a cue. Have you drawn this drawing in such ways that some part of the head is omitted? Some part of it is outside of the border. Is it that way? Yeah. Yes. So see, I have completed this here. If I completed his head here, this is somewhat how it would come. Take the topmost point of this. The topmost point for any head is like this. Our head is shaped like a coconut. This is the topmost point. The whole of the hair is also here. Right. From this topmost point, you want to take the measurement of the chin. This is your line. Find the center of this. That means you will have to approximate a little bit. You don't take the center from here. Then your eyes will be placed way below. Understand? Right. You need to approximate it this way. Ask me questions like this. If any part of the drawing you're unclear, ask me questions. Feel free. That's something that I really, really appreciate. Find the center and set that as the eyes. For me, based on my thing within the frame, it is around 8 centimeters within the frame. I mean, that need not be your measurement. It can vary depending on the papers. It can vary depending on any small things that you make. So that's not important here. Let's curve this line a little bit. Curve this line a little bit. And now I have let's also plot the center from here. Our focus today is going to be on the nose and the lips. Let's plot the center from here. Whatever measurement that you have made. For me, it is around 8.5 to 9. So whatever measurement it is around, yeah. So the center, this is where your nose is going to come. And we can also plot the center of this. What is going to come there? The lower line of the lips. Yes. So now
I have a
yes.
question here.
Yes.
I understood that how you vertically you draw the line, but how you got that eye line?
The eye line.
From the, yeah.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about, Rosina. You draw you take it from here.
I got that vertical line, but
the eye line. Okay. You got the vertical line. So you draw the entire vertical line from here Take this entire vertical line from here till here.
Yes.
Right. Now this line is of so and so centimeters. I'm not measuring from here though. I'm measuring from outside of this.
Oh, okay.
In this A4 image, it is 15 plus 621 centimeters. Now I need to take 10.5, which is from the top. See 10.5 exactly. Notice a 10.5 exactly my eye line is coming.
Yeah. Okay, now I got it.
That.
Yeah.
That is what you need to do. So a lot of times we can make mistakes because we can take the line from here instead of here. Avoid that. Some parts when we exclude, we'll need to take that into consideration. Okay. Now that we have this set, we have this nose and we have this low, we have found the center from this eye line to the chin. That is where the nose is going to come. From here to here, you find the center again. That is where the lower line of the lips are going to come. Of course, minute differences occur. Don't be very rigid about this. This is just to help you provide a structure. From person to person, slight differences will occur. That you'll have to look into this and you'll have to point out, because some people you notice have a relatively longer chin. Even a small difference, it does make a big from what we see. Small differences. Now let's block out the nose here. For drawing the nose, what I need to do is, see, of this I have left this much space here. My head, this is the maximum. This is the maximum point where the nose can come. For this one, this is the maximum point where the nose can come. That means my eyes needs to be a little bit more inwards as well. So now I'm going to bring the smaller corrections onto this, where I leave enough space for this and just, just slowly fine tune this head here. All you need to know is that don't take it from here and then it will extend all the way outside of the border and it look odd. When we draw this, we drew the spacing so that this is the maximum extent to which the nose can come. We have this set here. This is how much within this. You notice this. From this eye line to here, there are two lines, and I can connect this and I can make this right triangle here. You see that I can make this right triangle here. This will help you figure out the nose, but your nose is also not going to come from here. It curves inwards. So the next thing that we need to do is that let's set the point where this outer point of these eyes are going to come. And then complete this eyes at your own leisure. I'm just helping you pick the points, pick the guidelines so that it will become easy. You're not confused later on. Yes, now are the lines visible, Pratya?
Yes.
Yes, see, I mean my head little bit, it comes inwards. The forehead comes inwards, the eyes come inwards here. And then here, this line of this nose comes here. So let's block out this nose here. SRK, if you notice, has relatively larger nose around here. He has literally larger nose around here. And I'm first drawing this triangular form, which forms this nose. The triangular form which forms this nose. I space this here. And let's from here. Let's start blocking out the nose. So first I start with the bridge. I start with the then I do the ball of the nose here. I do the wings, I extend from here. See that? I form this mushroom-like shape. So be free. When you're drawing this one, notice these loose forms around here. Loose round nose. Don't be afraid of extending it a little outwards, but make sure that it's drawn large. If you notice, his nose is not coming like this, but it protrudes out from here. See, those are the differences. If you notice some people's nose, SRK's nose protrudes out from here. Some people's nose, they comes in. Some people, it's very pointed. So these are some of the differences that you're going to pay attention to. Okay, so in order to breathe life into your portrait, you'll have to get this correct. Let's draw this thing here. Again, a large round. And you notice how his nose isn't flat. It's curves and it comes this way. Curves and it comes this way. And for these wings also, I follow it up with another round. And see, I'm blocked out this nose here. It's very easy. No, drawing the nose is one of the easiest. Have you been able to get this? Have you been able to follow along? And let's just smoothen this up in order to get a certain clarity on this drawing. Let's draw out an outline for this. Let's draw a quick suggestive outline for this. A very fast suggestive outline. Yes. How do you like the new instructor? Is he good? Is he good as the older one? Getting a quick suggestive outline. See, I have captured the essence of the nose. I have got this roundedness here. Exaggerate the roundedness here slightly. Get this here. And this form needs to protrude out all the way from here. It isn't flat. I draw this and notice I had told you that your nose, in fact, the nose plane is such that it curves in sharply and it goes outwards. Slopes in and slopes outwards. We had learned that in our lesson on the nose, the nasal plane. So the amount of lips. Yes. The nasal plane, we had learned about this. This goes in and curves outwards. Right, the bridge of the nose. So notice in his, do you notice the small downward slope in his nose? All right. So we have drawn this here. We have drawn this nose here. Yes. So are we ready? Are you ready? Complete. I will wait for you. Once you're thoroughly ready and satisfied with the outline structure of the nose, let's move on. We can move on to the drawing the lips here. So respond to tests after you've drawn this. Along with a quick suggestive outline. Okay. All right. So we've done this. Now, let's draw the lips here. As for the lips, what did we learn for the lips? So the first thing that we notice in the lips are, we figure out we draw this. See, we draw this cup, this cylinder that comes here. Notice how this entire part is protruding out. Yes. Notice how this entire part is protruding out this way. See this mouth protruding out. And if you notice here, or you notice this step-like form that goes here. These are the two cues regarding this mouth here. So start with this. From here, I leave enough, little bit of space for this. Now, this guideline helps us not make this too large. So I need to know that my arch here needs to end here. So my cup needs to end here. The mouth cup needs to end here. This is because where the lower line of the lips are coming. And then after this, it goes slightly downwards, from which I point it outwards a little bit. Again, add a small step here. Notice as I draw this, I'm drawing this as quick flicks and not these rigid strokes. And I add a square base to this. Square base to this. After which, there. Slowly pull this neck inwards and get this set. There. Got it? Captured this. Don't worry about the articulation of the lips. We will be doing that. We'll be doing that in a short while. Got this here? Okay. Now that we've done this, next thing is let's define this further. For this purpose, I'm going to draw some couple of strokes within this. Articulate this form within here. Draw this one, decide the extent of these lips, and then just draw the largest shape that can enclose this, the largest cup that can enclose this. As for this purpose, you notice this, there is a correlation between this line of the lips and this eyes. Since we are not drawing the portrait incomplete, this cannot be paid attention to. So let's go back to our eyes and give a quick suggestive eyes to help us guide along. So here, this comes here. I have this nose line here, and I leave a little bit of space. So notice the correlation. Since you have drawn the nose, notice that where this nose outer line extends, that is where my eyes have begun. See this? Every time you draw in a portrait, it is filled with cues like this. It's all about observation. Notice this observation here. From this outer extent of the nose, this is where the eyes are beginning. Exactly. The design is so beautiful. And then, so I can just draw this vertical line upwards. So this is where my nose is going to come. No confusion. These are where my eyes are going to come. No confusion needed. I can draw the rest of my nose here. This can come. This nose line will come here. And this is where my eyes feature will be placed. Okay. So now I have this one. Let's draw a quick line for this, suggesting these eyes here. Now getting into the details of these eyes, of course. Just a quick suggested thing here. Draw this at your own leisure. And then see. Now that we have drawn these eyes, so regarding the size of these eyes, we had learned it. So if you divide this entire thing, if you divide this entire drawing into, let's measure it up and see. So this entire grid, if you divide this entire thing from here till this extreme, it is 15 plus 3, 18 centimeters. And from here, it is, see, 2 units wide. So when I consider, so this is where we apply the grid structure that we had previously drawn. I don't have a grid in A4, so it will be slightly different. So, but let me make one else. There are numerous different ways to analyze, to deconstruct a drawing here. Guys, the video seems stuck on my screen. Is it moving for you? Is it all right for you? Because the video seems stuck on my screen. Is it stuck? Is it moving? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's stuck.
It's stuck, right?
Yeah.
I'm confused because on my phone it is moving. On this, it seems stuck. What is this? Hold on. There seems to be some error. Wait, very sorry for this inconvenience. Yes, we are back. Okay, so this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted to tell you about. When you let's measure this side from this end and see the entire head. When you notice the outermost extent is here. Okay, so on this I'm sitting a tracing paper. Let's do an analysis. The outermost extent is here from this tip of the nose, and on this side as well. The on a head, when I see it from here, this is the outermost extent. How wide is this? This is 15. 17, nearly 18 centimeters, nearly 18 centimeters. Okay. Yeah. So around what you say, each unit is around 2.5 centimeters. And if you notice here, each unit is around 2.5 centimeters. That means now when you notice, when I notice here, this from this extreme end of this nose to this eyes where these are, it is 5 centimeters. That means what? It is 2 units wide. If you notice like this, my eyes is 1 unit here. When you divide this entire thing into 7, my eyes is 1 unit here. And then this nose is another unit here that goes out. See this? This is in confirmation with what we had learned. So look at it this way. There are numerous ways to analyze. There are numerous ways to divide, scrutinize a drawing. And in these ways, you will be able to approximate the position. Are we clear on this? Yes, respond with yes if you are ready. So do not misplace the position. Now that we have enough cues, let's get on with this. So I left enough space that way, and I've drawn this eyes here. Consider this, divide this thing 2 units apart. You're going to place this one here. And also there is another way in which we said we start the unit from here. We draw this half unit outside. So 1.5 units inside. I think this is much more easier to understand. We are using grids for our convenience. So think of it that way. Extend the line outwards. This is the outermost extent. And then little bit from inside. From the center is where your lips are going to come. See? Center is where the lips are going to come. So from this, I've drawn the center line. The lips are going to come. Now my mouth line, I can draw this. I can start off with this form here. With this lip, with this line of this lip here. So I start with this, what you say. I draw this muscle above this mouth muscle, the dental arch. I'll push this out. Let's draw this. Draw the center line for this. Center line of these lips. Connect this as this round here. Let's draw out this plane. See what have we learned? There are 2 planes here. One plane and then another.
Upper lip, Niranjan.
The upper lip and this is the lower lip. See, drawn the upper lip and the lower lip here. Hold on. This needs to be a slide. Yeah, on my drawing as well. Lower lip is a little too much to the down.
You drew the center line, no? So the upper lip and lower lip come above and below that, right?
Yes. There seems to be a. So this is the thing. Above this, my lower lip line needs to come above this. So this is where it's going to come. Okay. I first start with this. So leave some space above this. Is where the center line, lower line of the lip should touch the lip line. Yes, it should touch and it can slightly go beyond this lip line as well. It can slightly go beyond this lip line as well. See this, don't hyper extend this because that will make your portrait look odd. This is just for structure, understanding the structure. It of course would not extend that far. You can push this slightly in, taper the shape, make this more aesthetical. And then from here on, I have drawn this. This round comes here. Let's start off by forming these rounds. So what had we learned? We first draw this, the major plane, we first approximate them, and then we articulate the form better with these minor planes. We draw around here. We add this. We just extend this outwards. Add this part what you call the nodes here. You draw this tick, this comma, this node that comes here. Curve them. You can also add this one here. One of the common errors that I had pointed out yesterday was so many of you, when you draw this, you tend to draw the upper lip bigger than the lower lip, which is a big fallacy. The lower lip needs to come. The lower lip is what is big. Okay, let me zoom in. Let me zoom in a little for you. Okay. Much more visible now. See that? This varies. For some people, the lower lips are the difference between the upper lip and the lower lip is huge. For some people, it's rounder, it's bulgier. There's again another difference. You don't want to make it overly bulged because it'll make them look very, very odd. You don't want that. You just want this slight degree that gets this, that captures this, and you have this. See that? And then these are the smaller forms that we can articulate here. This comes. And we have this. So we have drawn the first image here. Now we have the first sketch here. Now let's get on with the second sketch. And this time we are going to be drawing the sketch of Virat Kohli. All right. So respond to this if you have done so far. Congratulations. Give yourself a pat in the back and let's start with the next one. Yes. Oh, this is very intense. Even for me, this is very intense. The pace of this class. Very proud of how fun you
are. Niranjan?
Yes. Yes, Pratya.
Vijita. If you don't mind, can you...
Oh, Vijita. Yes, Vijita.
Yeah, if you don't mind, can you indicate the other eye also? It's like a very small portion is there.
Yes, yes. Very small portion is there. Yeah. Let's do that then. So I draw this here. My eyebrows are going to come here. It's strained here. These muscles are strained here. I draw this arch here. And of course, I don't mind. You don't have to ask me if you don't mind. Okay, so Niranjan, can you please show that? That would be of great help. Makes me sound like I'm a I'm kind of this bad person who just say, it's annoyed with your questions.
No.
So let's erase off. See, let's erase off all of the unnecessary lines here. So this nose, we have this here. And when I sketch this, I'm sketching this where the muscle strains are coming. A lot of my lines come from this suggestion that I take here. And this line comes here. This should not go so much in. Yeah, this seems fair enough. Round goes here, and then see slightly. It's a very small thing. So if you take this, I draw this round here and a round here as well. Slightly, it can hardly be seen. Okay. Are you able to approximate the position? Don't curve the nose so much inwards. Notice the relation between this line. So notice that this inner end of this nose meets the center of this fold here. See this? It's all about correlations. Every time you draw a portrait, look for the cues and correlations. It's all about anatomy and proportion. See? It's all maths. So this is where it's come. Now in this as well, when I draw this, I have this here. Similar position, I take it upwards and let's see how much this is confirming. See, it's confirming there. See that you don't want to take it beyond this. You don't want to take it inwards beyond this. From this, you draw this inwards. And then we can draw these eyes. We can draw this here. Okay. I think mine has already started to look a little bit like Shah Rukh Khan. Yes, is a lesson for another day. Let's not stress on that. All right. So guys, please do not complete this drawing here because I wanted to save this for the next session as well. Okay, so we'll do this in the Tuesday session, in the upcoming Tuesday session. Okay? Please do not complete this drawing. I know you're also enthusiastic. If you want to draw more, there are plenty of practice exercises and you can practice that. I would say for now, just isolate and practice the features. You don't have to stick to the references that I give. The reference, think of it as simply a guide for you to look for what kind of images to practice. Draw them, try them. There are plenty of them. Just those features around, if you draw, there are plenty of them. If you can do that, if you can do all of it itself, it's amazing. That enough is great practice. Okay. So we are ready, right? Let's move on to the next portrait here. Nice and fast. So sometimes it's kind of what you say, it's beautiful when you try a few lines and then immediately it starts looking like the person. You don't know what is it that you're doing. Just a few lines, small differences, and immediately it starts looking, it starts looking like the person that you intended to. Make a few changes and it will start looking like Salman Khan. So just a few small touches. The principles are the same, but it's those additional touches that you bring into it, the small touches that you bring into it. Now, for this one here, again, the guideline principle, the guidelines are very, very important. Firstly, where you place this. So consider this one here. I'm giving you these measurements for you to understand how this portrait is placed with respect to the frame. This entire frame is, for the 3/4 view, there is no standard guideline. You cannot use guidelines for 3/4 view. Simply because the whole concept of 3/4 view, and quarter, you can see the Malanti is filled with her grandchildren. They all want to see what she's drawing. I think they're super excited at the artwork that she's creating. We have this. Are they? We have this one, 15 centimeters here. For this one, we cannot use the aid of grids because it keeps varying. 21 centimeters it is. Now in this frame of 21 centimeters, my center line, always take the center line from the center between this, the position, what you call the third eye. That is why you take the center. Okay, and then the center line again, it goes from here. It needs to cross in the center of these lips. Notice that this is coming at 5 centimeters. So in a frame of 21 centimeters, this is coming at 5 centimeters. That is how much? It is nearly 1/4. Right. 21, 5, 21. Nearly 1/4. This is why this is called the standard 3/4 view. You see that? You see the correlation. 1/4, 3/4. That is the ratio here. So
can you
yes.
repeat that again, Niranjan?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure, sure. What I meant was, notice what this is an A4 paper, Vijita. This is an A4 paper. An A4 paper with width 21 centimeters. In this A4 paper of width 21 centimeters, my border is in fact half a centimeter. My border is half a centimeter. But let's ignore the border here. For the sake of understanding, I'm ignoring the border here. I'm ignoring the border here. And this is just 21 centimeters. If I take this entire frame of 21 centimeters, right? And I take my first key to drawing a portrait is finding the center line of the portrait. For front view, it's very easy to find the center line of the face. For a 3/4 view, it is not easy. So I'm just telling you a device, a technique using which you can understand that. Understand the relative proportion. This is 21 centimeters wide. Out of this one, when I take the center and take the center from the center point between these eyes and these lips. See, draw a line that connects them. That's your center. Draw a line that connects them, and this is your center. All right. So notice that this center from this extreme edge is 5 centimeters. You see this, Vijita?
Yes.
What is the ratio between 5 and 21?
Roughly 4 times.
Roughly 4 times. So you see this. This is the aspect ratio that you can also follow to in your drawing to place it. So within this frame here, within this entire frame here, whatever it is that you've drawn. For me, this is now 14 centimeters. So this entire thing is 14 centimeters here. So within this, I just need to find out 1/4. I just need to divide this into 1/4, and that's where I need to place. Right? Or I can just what you say. Yeah, either ways, it doesn't make difference. So here it is. I have left 1 centimeters. It is 12 centimeters. In this 12 centimeter border, I just need to leave 3.
Got it now. Thank you.
Got it. That. So now I know where to find the center. We are learning how to get a 3/4 view. Now that this is set, the next thing is that let's understand the finding the eyes. Finding the eyes. So as for the eyes, it's very, very interesting because the eyes for a portrait needs to start from the center. So eyes for this portrait needs to start from the center. Now finding the center of the head. The center of the head starts from the, which is here, because his hair goes up. We don't find the center from the hair, right? This does not include the head. The head is only till here. The rest are all just add-ons. So we take it from here to this chin, and that is how we find the center point for the eyes. Now, if you notice, some part that is upwards is occupied by the hair. Let's measure how much. Out of this head, we pay close attention here. 4 centimeters. You understand? 4 centimeters from this head, the hair rises up, at least in this frame, at least in this A4 size image. Here from this chin as well, 4 centimeters, it goes out. You see, again, 4 centimeters, it goes out. Little bit, like slight variations occur, 4.54. It's the same though.
Here we should actually measure where that photo ends, right? Like where his shirt ends. It's 2, right? Probably from the.
Yeah. So what? Oh yeah. Yes. Wait, you're right at that. Yeah, right at that. Yeah. There is this large border here which I had ignored. So this is 2 here, and this is 4 here. So in that case, what we can do is, let's find out. We need something to base our drawings upon. Let's find out the center out of this. 15, 4, 19, and this is a. So I have found out. I have approximated the center. See, my eyes can be anywhere around this. My eyes can be anywhere around this. Let's just place it. I'm just positioning it 1 centimeter up. From the center of this frame, I'm just positioning it 1 centimeter up on this A5 paper. Because why? There is this border downwards, which takes it upwards. Understand? There's this border here, which pushes the drawing upwards. So I'm just raising the level of my eye slightly upwards as well. Makes sense? Get it? Do you understand what I did? Ask me questions if there is any confusion why I just pushed it upwards after finding the
The
center
eye
of the
part, yeah, eye part was not clear. I got confused.
You got confused. So what I meant was, see, the entire drawing. So the entire drawing, I need to find the eye line of this. Let's base it off something here. Let's base it off something. I first found out the center of this entire frame. Now, if you notice in this frame itself, there is this difference. There is this variation. This is 2 centimeters. This is 4 centimeters. You understand? So in order to accommodate the difference, I just slightly adjust the position of my eyes 1 centimeter up so that it can balance out this difference between this and this. Had both the difference between this been equal, I could have just equally spaced it in. I equally set the center. This is one of the ways. I will offer you different ways. This is just one of the ways. Or you can just go with the classic method where you just approximate. See, I will leave itna sa difference for the hair. I leave this much difference for the hair. And then let's draw a circle. Let's draw the circle. And from the circle, I will slightly extend this. I will draw the squares in here, and I will also push this outwards. So my head can come all the way out to here. In this way also I can draw, and I can take the center point of this being 14 centimeters, around 7 centimeters. Yeah. See, I found this out. This seems more accurate to me. I mean, rather than pushing this upwards, pushing the eye line upwards, let's just do it this way. It shouldn't be pushed upwards. In fact, it needs to be slightly pushed downwards because this side is more. I'm sorry for that. In fact, since this is more, it needs to be slightly pushed downwards, not upwards. That will just place the eye line 2 up. So,
Niranjan, so is the green, like the full portrait of Virat, proportional to your A5 frame which you have made?
yes, it is proportional to the A5 frame that I have made.
Okay.
Right. It is proportional to the A5 frame that I had made. You can also measure it this way. I mean, notice the difference between this. So when you draw this one, you need to pay close attention to leave some space for this, because when you notice the relative difference between the difference between this outside end versus this is not 1/4. Notice this. This is 2. If this is 2 centimeters, close to 2 centimeters, that my entire drawing is more than 16 centimeters. So it's almost 1/8. That I'm not considering because that'll be too confusing. What I said was, if I take only exclusively from this head here, from this extreme end to this extreme end, my center line of the eyes is nearly at 1/8. So if this is x centimeters, this is 8x. The rest of this entire image will be 8x. So I'm not taking that. What I meant was, from this border and this border, this is nearly coming at 1/4. From this border and this outer edge is nearly coming at 1/4. So just approximate it that way and make sure that you leave some space to accommodate it. It should not go out a lot beyond the center line. It's a small difference here. So we can draw this, you can leave this small difference here, accommodate this here. Right. This 1/4 line I've taken, which includes the space. So make sure that you leave the space. You don't want to push this all the way outward. You just want to leave some space here. Approximate it accordingly. And then you draw this one. Is this clear, guys? Let's also set the base for this mohawk. Setting just a base for his mohawk here. And then I have this eye line here. This eye line, I will curve it like this. See, this eye line takes this curve this way. So let's just slightly curve it this way. Slightly curve it this way. And again, let's find the center between this and the chin. Let's find the center between this and the chin, which is here. And again, that forms the nose line between this and this. That forms the line of the lower lip. Get it? We have the basic structure set here. Push this in. And let's form this nose. So I'll just draw these 2 circles here for getting this, getting my version of the eyes. Needs to be large, okay? These needs to be large, approximated according to the portrait. So how wide is this going to come? So we have learned about finding, cueing, measuring, setting the proportions, approximate, because for this we cannot follow any clear grid. We cannot follow any clear grid. One thing that you can do is, if you wish to really understand if you're seeing getting the proportions correct, you can take a printout. So if, let's say you're drawing it and I'm drawing this in A5 size. You can take a printout of this image in A5 size, draw a grid on it. Use that grid as the measurement, and then on what you have drawn, you can place it to check. So you can draw a grid matching the positions. You can just outline the positions of each of these features. So that's a very good way to get started when you're starting with the portrait. Take a printout. So if you're, let's say this is an A4, it'll be very convenient. If I do it in A4, I need to take a tracing paper, just quickly trace out the outlines here. Set grids or quickly trace out the outlines here. And of what I have drawn, I can just place it. I can just place this on top on an A4 paper. And then you can try that out. Right. So that's a technique that is very beneficial. So for now, I mean, let's not get into all of that. I'm just quickly setting this outline and I've drawn these eyebrows. You have set this position of these here. So yeah, we had learned how to regarding drawing the eyes and all of that. So that's not something to worry on too much about. Ears are going to come here. And then the chin, the structure, all of this is a lesson for another day. Exact structure for how this chin is coming, his neck. All of this will come in a final conclusion in a conclusive session. But let's not worry on that. The basic point is you got the outline. Now from this, let's draw the nose. How do you draw the nose? On this one, you can start with the ball of the nose. You can draw this ball of the nose here. I'm setting the ball here. Don't draw the ball including this entire thing. That's a big mistake. Just draw the ball and the wings as separate entities. Okay, you want to draw this ball and these wings as separate entities. So let's draw this ball here, these wings. Notice this. In this, the relativity is that where these eyes are coming in, it's here. See this? In between these eyes, this is where the nose line is ending. See that? Again, when I see from here, notice in between the center, this is where my lips are ending. center of these eyes where the lips are ending. So it becomes so much more convenient if we draw this portrait in full. Since we do not have the kind of time and bandwidth for that, let's just approximate and draw. You can of course correct it later on. I have this one. And this here. So then let's draw the bridge. Push this here. Let's draw this here. Then from here, let's draw the lips. So I'm starting with the cup here. This needs to come. Defining this chin comes here. So let's start with, see, his lips are barely visible because of the mustache. So this offers a great lesson in drawing the mustache and all. So I want you all to, by the by the time you come for the next session, I want you all to complete the eyes. I want you all to complete the eyes. Just complete, and you can also render the eyes. We'll be drawing the nose and suggesting the lips here. For us to complete it with the mustache and the beard and complete the portrait, I want you all to come with the eyes and the other features. Okay, we'll just be defining this few key features here. Don't be afraid of trying again. If this, a lot of you will be finding it difficult to, what to say, make a clean drawing in the session because of the time pressure of actually completing it in the thing. I can see Tanvi shaking her head. So it's okay. Learn, take lessons, take notes, get inspired from here. Do again later. Give it time. I mean, at most, how much is going to take you? It's going to take you another additional 20 minutes. That's it, 20 minutes. That's all the time that you need to give for the drawing, for getting a better drawing. So here as well, we had drawn plenty of lip examples here. That's okay. Let's just, this doesn't even require that much of work, in fact. It's hardly visible. So you can just draw out these planes here and you can just define this slightly here, which I can of course do with my pen. Hardly visible. Anything is hardly visible here. All right. So we have this set. Now let's ink them. Shall we? Yes. Okay, so I'm coming back to SRK. So firstly, I have drawn this outline here. See, the first thing, my first duty before inking is to first draw the contours. Let's set that. Let's get that set. So for this one, I will first set out the basic structure here. Notice how these contours are going for this one. For him, see this? And I'll first mark on this so that it becomes clearer for you. Are my pencil marks visible? Or let me just draw from the pen so that it becomes even more obvious. See this? So when I draw the portrait, guys, when we draw the portrait, we set the eyeline individually for each of these features. We don't just set one center outline and let everything. So we had learned that if the eyeline is here, everything above it will come like this, everything below it to come like this. Does not mean that for this nose. I think the screen just got stuck again. I think the screen just got stuck again. I don't. Yes. What is this? My phone again. My phone is visible, but in this one, this doesn't seem to respond. Thank you. Yes, I'm trying to connect. Right? Let me try and reconnect my phone again. Yeah. Yes, we are back at it. Okay, so when I draw the portrait, however, I can set eye levels individually for each of these features. So it's okay. Like, don't get confused with this because it's not like when we look at a portrait, what happens is we are going to specifically focus on each of these individual features here. So these eyes, these nose, lips, each of these separately, we are going to pay attention and focus to. So it's okay. For this one here, I can draw such that my contour lines are coming this way. Lips, I can draw my contour lines this way. For this nose, I can draw it this way. You understand? For this one here, I can take it this way. It keeps on varying. For portraits, just keeps on varying. So we'll get in depth on that. For now, let's just focus on the nose here. Follow with me and trust the process. And let's first start by making these basic marks on this. Basic marks. Okay. Make sure that your lines are curved. Make sure that you take it here and then you pull this all the way here. From here as well, you can work on these. Makes a lot of sense to do these. So we're not going so much more in depth than this. It's not necessary. From here as well, I can draw this. When I take it here, guys, pay very close attention. This is a very, very key component. When I take this, so my nose line has come to here, where the nose line is starting. For this one, I can in fact curve this slightly downwards here. I can create this transitioning area because that creates this because there's a slight depression. There's a slight dip here and that helps bring in this cheek. So when I draw this cheek, this is how I'm going to be drawing this cheek. It's a focus that we are going to be focusing on this in another session, but I'm giving you a gist of what's to come. See, notice how then the face starts looking 3D when I start rendering this way. Get it? So don't take it all the way. Don't take it all the way outwards. Make sure that you bring in this division and you draw it this way. So you bring this in and then back. That makes sense, doesn't it? So let's also push these curves here slightly upwards. And this curve can come here. I'm liking this. See, this will go all the way here. So make sure you make this distinction clear and visible. We are not going to be paying so much attention to this lip area. We'll just suggest for future references. I can draw them with these vertical curved lines. Makes sense for me to draw them this way, or I can just follow. Let's just follow this way. See? Let's just follow it this way. And these here. Thank you so much, Vijita. It's just a few key lines that makes it up. I'm happy the way this has turned out as well. Every portrait is an experiment. Even I'm not sure when I start this is going to turn this way. I don't want to be embarrassed in front of my students. So I just, what you say? Fortunately, it turns out well. There. So I just suggest a few key lines here. We had learned this. Most of the depth comes from here, right? And then most of the depth comes from here as well. Make sure that you get these smaller expressions set. I'm looking forward to seeing your drawing evolve as well. They're all drawings. I can't wait to have an amazing portfolio with all these wonderful portraits. And more or less, I'm looking forward to creating more and more portraits in this Friday sessions as well. And give you challenges with portraits. Right. Okay, so you've done this. I'll give a few quick suggested lines here as well, just to get this, set a certain context for this drawing. There, it's done. So you notice this particular thing, this part is slightly bulged as compared to a lot of people. These are some of the few key things that makes the map. All right, so for this one here, let's start by inking. Let's start by inking in a few key details into this one, into Shah Rukh Khan. For this purpose, I'll be using a very light pen. So take out your 003 pen. And let's just give a few quick outlines. This one. Notice where the light is falling in this. Notice where the light is falling in this. So the light is falling from this side. So how do I say? See how this is bright. I can see the light is falling from here. Notice how this part is well lit. Here, when you notice, there is a small hint of shadow here. Here, there is a hint of shadow. Pay attention to your references. There's a hint of shadow here. And there is, with a small light here, the rest of it has some depth and work to it. See that? The rest of it has some depth and work to it. So when we draw this one, we need to pay attention to creating this curve here, additional curve here. And then this has to be a slightly larger curve as compared to this. This needs to curve down and up. This needs to curve down and up. So there's a small differences that come into this. Now let's get into this. Don't make all of this the same curve because it will all look like the form. This has to be a small, slightly exaggerated curve. Let's start with this. Just giving these few quick strokes here. It's going to be very light, okay? It's going to be very, very light. It's going to be just a few quick strokes. It's hardly visible. Hardly visible. Add in this depth into this. Let's draw this curved strokes here. If you notice, most of my focus on this drawing is around this. I'm leaving a slight gap here. See, I'm curving these strokes as well. Don't lose the curvature on them. Even if you draw this, don't lose the curvature on this. These few quick strokes are enough, in fact. You don't have to over exaggerate it, but I can just also slightly add a small hint of cross section. Small hint of cross section here. See that?
I'm always afraid of this cross hatching.
Always afraid of this cross hatching. Then don't do it then. If you're afraid of it, don't do it. I would rather say you do it because you learn more in that way. But if you don't want to spoil your drawing, don't do it. But you do well now, Rosina. I know my lines are not hardly visible because it's very, very minute. It's very, very, what you say, no camera can capture the details that I draw. But yes, you can have a look at this. Let's try keeping it this close. See this? Very minute these strokes are. But the key thing is I left the spacing and I don't need to draw an outline for this. If I drew an outline for this, it's not going to look that good. You see that? I should not draw clean outline for this. If I drew an outline, then what is the point? It's lost. So we have drawn the nose first. That's it. Let's also add a few more steps into this one. It's done. See, one thing is that when I draw this nose, while this part is curved outwards, this part is curved outwards, the wings and the ball. As for the bridge, it curves in and it curves out. You see that is how the shape is formed. This part, it curves in and it curves out. That is how the form is. It threads this way. This is a fully like a ball. This curves in and this threads out. So feel your nose. Feel what forms your nose and form that. You'll be tempted to work around this. So it's not necessary. It's not necessary. But to just give it a small content because it brings in a satisfaction, we can put in a few quick strokes around here as well. Just a few pixels. That helps given a certain context. It's also adding some. Turning work into this one. When we work on eyes, we can As you work on this, you can add in further depth from this. This area has some depth. You can add that depth. You can add these strokes that goes from here. You can bring in all of these additional features here. Then for this one, let's work on this. So as for these lips here, I can mostly see there is a certain shift in direction of this one. So this curves outwards, and then for this part it curves inwards, and there is a small transition here. Here as well, this mostly curves outwards. It needs to have this curvature, and then in order to really get this roundedness, so this is like this region here is like this ball. This region here is like this ball. So this curves outwards, and as it comes here, not to really capture this depth, if I just draw like this, it won't look real. Understand? So it is like this form here. Before inking, before working with your pen, add this curvature here, this ball here, with these here. So this is how the form is. Outer end curves this way. Our eye focus is coming somewhere around here. It comes, and somewhere around this point, it starts curving the other way. See that? This is how you get the shape of this lip. Because see, my eye level is somewhere around here, my center eye level is somewhere around here, and somewhere around this, it starts shifting. That you will have to find out for this thing. So let's just put a few quick strokes here, and then slightly this turn should not be very dramatic as well. Also, it doesn't make sense for it to turn like a dramatic turn. It has to be a slow, gradual turn. These are all basics that we had learned in the contouring lessons. Mostly in the contouring part that comes here. Let's also add a few quick strokes into this one. Yeah. Cross-hatching does add this beauty and depth into your drawing. So if you can pull it off, it's great. See, if I add, when I lay strokes that goes this way, my cross-hatching strokes goes this way. When I lay strokes that goes this way, my cross-hatching strokes goes this way. Just think in terms of like, don't overcomplicate it too much. You're just emphasizing on the form. That's all you're doing. And I know you're all capable. That's why you're here. I have not let any outsiders come in fact, like all of you, I had personally invited you to join me for this because I see the potential, I see the capability. Let's also see, give it a few. I'm also leaving this negative space here, and from this I will add this depth here. This additional depth, yes. Most of this depth, SRK is around this region of the lips. His lips from which he has said some of the world's most famous dialogues. And further add some depth work here. And a little further. Don't overcomplicate it if you're not comfortable going beyond it. That's done. I'm done. The nose and the lips. I'm happy with what I've done. The rest are all small additional depth work, and I can do that later. Yes. Are you happy with what you've drawn? So when you are ready, let's move on to the next. Some of you are laughing, I can see, at what you've drawn. Is it at what you've drawn? Don't worry, be kind on yourself. You have come so far. Congratulate yourself on how far you come. It's been just 2 weeks and you're trying to draw portraits, so that's great. It takes lots of practice for you to get a very good grip on the portrait set. Naturalness that to get on the portraits. All this, think of this as just an introduction. You have an introduction, you have a certain orientation, and now you know what to focus on, how to practice. In the pen illustration, it took you months. It took you months to get a good grip of it, right? So now we are getting into the next one. We are moving into drawing Virat Kohli here. So I'm very happy with how well this is going. In fact, we have what you say. I've been able to complete everything that I had planned for you people. So I'm very happy about this. We will complete this nose, add in a few strokes into this, and that will be the end of this session. Right, that will be the end of the session. These lips, it's best that it's worked with these, it's worked with the mustaches, because a lot of this mustache comes into play, comes into this, and it's what you say, we'll do all of them together. And even for this nose, there isn't much work that can be done. In fact, there is hardly any work that can be done. Hardly any work that can be done, because this region is well lit. Hardly any, but we'll just do a little bit. So we have this here. Drawing the outline. So notice his nose here. Okay, so let's do a comparison between both these people. Notice in Virat's nose is curved inwards, whereas SRK's nose is curved outwards. See that? Virat has a stronger inward curve and it's sharper as compared to Shahrukh's, which curves more outwards. Notice how this is slender and it forms this, it has a shape like this. Archetypical nose he has, slender and it forms this way, this form. Whereas if you notice for him, it goes out and you see this. It's not just the form. Even if you see his nose from the time, it's more rounder, it's more fuller. Also, if you notice, his wings are slightly spread outwards and downwards, whereas Shahrukh's wings of this nose are not that evident and visible. I mean, it's almost like it's stuck to the face. So small differences bring out these differences. Yeah. See, notice as I sketch this, I'm just drawing it in this manner. Not because I've drawn these as these outlines. I've drawn these as these outlines, these dotted outlines. As for his nose, as for Virat's nose, so this part here, if you notice, so let's draw the vertical. It's easier to understand this in a word with vertical strokes. These needs to curve upwards. See, like this. See this? These are better understood this way. And if you were drawing a circle for this one, how would you draw this? Would it make sense to draw this way? It wouldn't, right? You see this? Imagine if this were a sphere. Imagine this were a sphere. How would you draw the horizontal strokes for this? Would you draw it this way though? I mean, as you go downwards, you're seeing the bottom of the sphere. Wouldn't you curve your strokes like this? And then slowly as you go up, wouldn't it curve upwards this way? Similarly, that's for this nose. So use a combination of vertical and horizontal strokes to understand. Because I've drawn this, see, this comes here. This is the bottom part. This comes here. And then bottom of this is this way. Top goes this way. So consider that. I will just put a few quick suggestive strokes for this one. It's more intensely curving here. See this curvature, this is more or less flat. This nose line, if you look, it's more or less flat. This part here though, it's more intensely curved, and as it turns out, this is the center of the sphere, and the bottom part comes here, and this is how it goes. See, similarly for this nose as well. Don't just think of it in two-dimensional form, think of it in three-dimensional form. All right? And you should be able to do great. So there is no rule that you have to lay horizontal strokes. You can do with vertical strokes as well. In fact, for this portrait, I'll be predominantly with vertical and diagonal strokes. You can even do it this way. If this is confusing you, you can do these vertical strokes, and then you can place these diagonal strokes, crosshatched with vertical strokes this way. You can draw that way as well. Right, for this way as well. It's about how we are able to read the form. It's about how we are able to read the form. Again, every time before you draw, I want you to develop this habit. I want you to develop this habit of first laying the contouring lines. And even when we come here, if you consider this as a large sphere and this as its wings, your center is here. Until this point, it curves up this way, and after here, it curves towards this. You see that? Let me explain that again. So if you consider this entire nose as this sphere which comes, and this wings that goes here, this is your nose line. Sphere and this wings that comes here. Until one point, it goes this way, and here it curves this way. See that? With more intense curve towards his wings. It's a lot of these small lines that form that make these differences. Portraiture is very interesting in the sense that it helps really understand the contours. Just a few quick suggested strokes. So I don't want to leave this blank. If I just leave it blank, I just feel like it feels like I've neglected it. I've not done enough. I'll just leave it. I'll just put even in areas with lots of light, I'll just put a few suggested strokes to show the work. Make sure that even when you draw this, you don't make it seem like hair, because you need a certain firmness. You need a certain firmness on these strokes. Yeah, I'm curving these horizontally inwards, adding these strokes to suggest depth. Yeah. Yeah, we're done. So we're done with this nose as well. So that's about it for today's session. I really hope that you enjoyed this. Yes. Drop in your comments. So I would love to hear from you. Did this, I hope this helped boost your confidence in being able to draw better. Yes, being able to draw your dream portrait. Yes. Brilliant. Seems like Rosina is the only person who's gained confidence out of this. How about Pratya? How about Alanti? How about you all? How about Usha? How about Hema? Okay, so do share your work in the group so that we can have a look at it.
Need more practice.
Absolutely. It's not like you can just get portraits like this, right? Need more practice. But I hope the clarity is there. Like when you practice, when you see a portrait, you're not now afraid. You're no longer afraid of trying. You know that it's possible. I can, right? You know that thing, right? That's the biggest change. That's all the change that I intend out of these sessions.
Thank you, Niranjan.
Welcome.
Niranjan, are we supposed to do the horizontal lines on the nose?
Horizontal. It's up to you. See, because cross-hatching is completely your freedom. You want to do the horizontal, draw that way. See, it's a combination of 4 sets of strokes that you're going to draw: vertical, horizontal, crossed, countercrossed. So you can use a combination of what it is. You can do vertical and crossed, horizontal and cross that. You can do vertical and horizontal. You can do, there are so many variations of it. So how you wish to draw is up to you. Let's have a look at your, let's have a quick look at your, do share till then. Do stay till then, because before we leave, there's a small exercise that I have for you. Do stay till the end. Let's see. Yes, this is a good one, Tanvi. Very good one. I love this work that you've done. Very nice.
Thank you.
I love the work on the nose. I hope you liked it as well.
Yeah.
See, there is a slight confusion here, but I think this is something that you can work on later. As far as the positioning is concerned, this is on spot. This head needs to be wider here. I hope you are aware of that, right?
Yeah. I'll make the changes later.
Yes. No head is this small. Right. We need space.
Yes.
We need space for the brain. So
yes, I'll make it.
Yeah. So work on it. I mean, what you say. It'll be fascinating, in fact. So we do this. So Rosina has drawn this portrait here. So in then maybe after the end of all this, now we learn. See, there is this hair can be improved because I'm not commenting on it because we haven't learned how to draw hair. After we complete all of this nose, you see I mean, these regions can be improved, of course. So after you complete this, probably you can try again. You did your self-portrait. Why don't we try that again? And then your final exercise, conclusive exercise, is you doing a self-portrait again after doing all of this. And you can compare the difference before and after. Oh, this is very good. Oh, wait. Before we come there, this is from Rosina. So this, see, I'll tell you, regarding this one here, his forehead is really protruding outwards. So his forehead needs to go inwards. This line this forehead ka line, if you notice, it needs to, in fact, okay, so I think better than this one, let's do something that I had done in the last session as well. Let's do a side-by-side comparison for every portrait that comes. Something that I notice on the picture. Let's do a side-by-side comparison.
Niranjan, I posted mine.
Yes. I will certainly have a look at it. So even in these ones, you can learn a lot. You can learn a lot from what others have done as well. Yeah. Okay, so look at this. Oh, this requires lots of time. This requires lots of time. I mean, so I mean, I'll have to edit it and I'll have to later place it. It requires lots of time. Okay, so look into this. Notice how SRK's head is in fact this forehead region is behind his nose. How this curves inwards here. Whereas in your portrait, Rosina, this forms this complete round here. So this is the forehead region is where this main problem is there. Apart from this, the nose seems fine. Nose seems fine. This lips and all seems fine. This chin shape could be better, but I mean that's the lesson for another day. But overall, this forehead is the region where this most of this thing comes. Okay. And then the Virat Kohli, I saw it is magnificent. Brilliant work on this. Very, very good work on this. May all have a heart on this. I mean, why don't you all put a heart, pop a heart? Very good work. I love this. The structure here, you have captured it brilliantly. This eyes. See, this is what I meant by a very good structure for a portrait. Very well drawn, this one. So let's look at some more. This one we saw, Rosina's we saw, this one we saw, this one. So, hey Vijita, you there?
Yes.
Yes, yes. See, it's very nice. You haven't done the inking yet. The basic sketch, I can see that you have worked. You have put in your heart into this. This chin region, this head region could be better. But again, that's a lesson for another day. We'll refine all of this. Our focus here is on the lips. I can see that you paid close attention to every instruction that I've had told. So being the kind of attentive person that you've drawn this circle here, you've drawn these circles, these planes, all of this here. And I hope that the clarity, the concept behind drawing each of these features is clear to you.
Yes, yes. I didn't ink it because like he's my favorite actor. So I thought when I when I am a little bit experienced, I will do that. But yeah.
You will do it. You didn't want to ruin him.
Yeah, but I got the likeness. I'm very happy about that.
You got the likeness. You got the likeness. See, in fact, I can see a SRK developing out of this. All that you need is this thing that comes here. This
chin. I'm having trouble. I redrew it a few times, but yeah.
We'll do that because it needs to be wider around this region. This bone structure. So you have the skull. You have the PDF of the skull, right? Compare it to this. How the skull is to the side. Because there is a lot of bone that comes here. And also here. See, this is too narrow. This needs to be a full round. Like it needs to be wide and very round, in fact. In fact, I'll show you. This needs to be. Let's see. It's very hard to get on this, but let's see. Yeah, see, somewhat this wide your head needs to be. Understand?
Okay.
Somewhat this wide your head needs to be. So when you draw this one, in fact, you'll have to take it outwards like this. Some of it goes outwards into the frame, and then this thing goes here. Shah Rukh Khan is your favorite actor. Is it though? What is his favorite movie that you like?
I mean, my favorite is he became my favorite after watching DDLJ, so that is my favorite.
Okay. And then. Okay. So now let's move into Pratya's drawing here. See. Okay, Pratya. So see, your work on the nose is fine. Your work on the nose is fine. I feel that the basic structure of the portraiture, that can be improved. Just give it time. Like I said, for you, what I would say is take a printout. So you drew this in A5 or A4?
A5.
A5. Okay, so better than this, then start afresh. Start afresh, draw big. When you're drawing small, maybe I need to better focus on this in the next portrait classes that I hold. We'll all draw in A4. It's better that way because A4 is a great place to learn. It's time consuming, but then it's a great place to learn. So what you can do is take an A4 paper, take a printout in A4 paper, trace that printout, and then when you sketch, place that tracing paper on your drawing and you can compare by the side if it's overlapping correctly. In that way, you'll be able to correct and adjust the better get an understanding of this. Okay, so the basic structure needs lots of work on it. Apart from that, the concept behind the nose is there. All of this crossing work is there, and this one also. So you're doing a very good work on thinking. You have always been very good with thinking. It's just that the basic portraiture, that basic structure. So Rosina has been able to capture this structure very well. This basic structure just needs work, and I think it can get better. It can get better with experience. But see, the good point is, you notice, Vijita, how Pratya drawing, the head has enough width. You see that? There is enough width for this one. So good work on that. The good work on this one. The chin is, I think, is a little too hyperextended. It need not be this big. The best part is you take a printout and then you compare between both. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Hey, Malanti, you there?
Yeah, just that one I did. I didn't ink it.
You didn't ink it. Yes, yes, yes. So it's nice work. See, you have been very good at sketching the basic structure. So it's very, very nice on this basic sketching part. This nose, lips, you have captured that very well. Eyes needs to be bigger. Okay, so when you notice this, see these eyes and lips are nearly okay. So let's try this. So look at this in this one. If I draw this, if I extend this line of this eyes, this is the outermost end. Extend this outwards. Notice this gap between these lips.
Yeah.
Notice these eyes are coming here behind the scleria. That's where these eyes are coming. So there is this much gap between this one. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So notice this. Now let's go back to your work here. Notice in this one. See, there is hardly any gap between this and this. It's nearly touching. See that? Okay. Hardly any gap. You see that? The eyes needs to be wider. The eyes at least needs to come out this wide. It needs to come out.
Okay.
Right, this wide it needs to come out. Slight differences. This wide needs to come out, and that make all the difference. Apart from that, the structure of the nose is very correct, and I like that. Structure of the nose and the lips are very correct. Inking you haven't done. Yeah. But I think that's something that you can better practice, and that's something that requires more practice.
I'll do it patiently.
Patiently, because you just give it time. All right.
Yeah.
So have I looked into everyone's work? I hope I haven't omitted anyone. Everyone who shared, I've looked. Yes. Yes. Now, before we end this practice, I want us all to do let's do a small meditation practice. Okay, let's do a small grounding exercise. So why don't you all close your eyes? Stay here with me. Tanvi has already left the meeting. Why don't you all stay with me? Close your eyes and reflect upon your entire day. I don't know what kind of days you had. Sometimes maybe it's been a very nice and relaxing day. Sometimes it must have been a very difficult day. Whatever it is, you took the initiative to come to be here with me in this portrait session. You made through it. So congratulate yourself on it. It might have been tough, yet you pulled in the energy to draw this. Reflect upon everything that you've drawn, every detail that you've drawn. Reflect upon each of the small elements that you put into it. Your drawing today might have been a reflection of how your day had gone. Look into it. Reflect upon every small stroke that you made. Reflect upon every lesson that you absorbed. How does it feel to you? Are you making progress? A lot of drawing happens in the mind. We might not be aware of it, but a lot of it is what we see outside is the unconscious made conscious. So bring all of that. Pay attention and congratulate yourself. Finally, don't forget it. You're all doing excellent. We are all at different stages, but we are all part of the same journey. We continue this journey in the coming weeks, and yes, take care, everyone. You may all open your eyes. How did that feel? Yes.
Feeling sleepy, Niranjan.
Sorry?
Feeling sleepy.
Feeling sleepy,
Yeah,
I know.
feeling calm.
Very calm it is, very calm it is. So that's about it for today, guys. Right, and
Thank you, Niranjan. Thank you.
Niranjan. Bye-bye, Sanjay.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.